Do you want to introduce yourselves, your name, your role, and what is your role in the connected car? And starting with you, Matthias.
Yes, I start. So, hi, I'm Matthias. I oversee partnerships at Appning. Appning is a wholly owned organization by Forvia. So, you might not be very familiar with Automotive, but Automotive consists of a lot of suppliers. And so, Forvia is a top 10 supplier to Automotive. And then Appning is the app exploration and content exploration platform for cars. You know, the video hopefully gave you a little bit of context of what we do, but what we do is primarily enabling content in cars. We do this for Mercedes, BMW, Lotus, and a lot of others. And then my team is responsible for partnerships. That means both with the OEMs as well as partners like BBC and Euronews.
Fantastic. Next.
Hi, my name's Eli. I run product strategy for Automotive at the BBC.
Great.
My name's Thomas, Director of Media Services at DNA.inc. We're a European team of experts helping our clients build great products. We work for SiriusXM, which is not so well known here, but it's a big satellite radio service in the US. They're building out their streaming offering. We're helping them with that. And we also help other media companies build great experiences in and out of the car.
Fantastic. Maxime?
Yeah, so I'm Maxime, working for Euronews and handling the business operations of the group there. So everything which is related to new markets, distribution, and business development, amongst which the mobility, the car. We'll get to the content purpose afterwards, but we basically are an international news network with 20 channels running in 160 countries.
Fantastic. So let's start with you, the content providers, with BBC, with Euronews. How excited are you about the opportunities inside the car? Let's start with the BBC.
Sure.
How excited are you?
Well, we've been excited about the content opportunities in the car for probably 80 or 90 years, I would say, as an organization. With us, reaching audiences in the car starts with the radio. That's where we reach about 18 million people every week in the UK. And the radio remains the most chosen source of entertainment in the car, more than any other source of media combined. And that will remain true for some time. So radio is really, really important for us. But we know that change is coming. I mean, we were just watching this Ofcom presentation about linear television and an inexorable decline, and at some point, DTT will be switched off. Well, we're not as far down the road with audio in the car as that, but at some point, that moment will come too. So we have to have our digital strategy too. So we were excited just before Christmas to launch BBC Sounds in BMWs with Appning's help. And we hope to be in many more cars to come with an embedded version of BBC Sounds. Now that's the very first baby steps of our digital offer in the car. And as I said, radio is going to remain really important.
So,
yeah.
Radio will remain important, but you're mentioning other things like probably video as well, maybe gaming. But what are the challenges? Do you think connectivity inside a car is still one of the main challenges?
Yeah, there's people are getting nervous about their data, and as we all know, you know, 4G coverage is not perfect, depending on where you are. Yeah, so that can be a problem. People might blame the BBC, you know, if they can't get what they want, whether that's video or audio or what have you. So of course that's you know that's there, but we're pretty confident that those things can be ironed out in the future.
Fantastic. What about Euronews? What attracted you about the opportunity of being in the car? Can you share with us your experience? What have you done? What is working? What doesn't work?
Yeah. So unlike the BBC, we're excited for 80 to 90 weeks because we have no radio, obviously. So we're considering this as an innovative market with rather classic KPIs. You're going to have more usages, and all the data are showing this. This is a captive audience, which for media like ourselves are, I would say, in a way, pretty much the same thing like people in hotels or on planes. So that also means that you need to have a real content value proposition. It's not because you're having a video offer linear content and non-linear content that you're going to be seen. So you end up being in the same reflection of, I want to be in that market, but we need to have a proper strategic approach. So that means what's my content value? So we are creating a dedicated product for cars that we work together on. 10 minutes, updated regularly, content you're going to have video-wise, obviously, when you open up the car, in 20 languages, available all over the globe, and then you're going to end up being in the same KPIs like CTV. That's, I guess, a bridge of that event with that industry, which is discoverability of the content. Very good to be an app in the middle of an app store, but which way you live in the middle of that. Then aggregating data. That's the first test and learn thing that we want to have access to, because that's a very fragmented market as we speak. And like CTV in a couple of years, not only we expect to have brand visibility for us, new audiences, new data, and in the end, new revenues for everyone. So that's what we are excited about.
But how is consumer behavior changing inside the car? Are they using it more than before? Do you have any statistics, BBC and Euronews, on consumer usage? Are they watching the same content in all the screens, different content?
As far as video goes, it's very early days. It's a completely unexplored area. We've heard some of the master classes yesterday talked a little bit about the kind of first data that people are getting back about how people watch video. It's going to have to be a lot of learning. People are probably not going to watch, prestige dramas in their car that often. It's probably going to be shorter types of content, but there's going to have to be a lot of testing there, particularly for video.
And I will go back to the two of you, but I want to speak to the tech vendors to see, is the technology ready to offer this kind of content? Matthias, what are the car companies prioritizing in terms of content strategies? Are consumers demanding more audio, more video, gaming? What are the priorities?
So it's a very good question. So I think there's the priority of the OEM and there's the priority of the user. So I think the user, as said, really wants audio. And audio is the main use case at the moment. We see, for instance, that Spotify is saying that 1/3 of their consumption is being done in the car. So for them, being there with an embedded solution is a must-have, right? The embedded solution is far superior to an app, a Bluetooth, or a mirroring solution in the car. So that's one thing that we see, and audio this is why we carry all the services, Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, BBC, those are all services that are highly requested. But then what we see happening in the car is two trends, right? So the first trend is that screens in the car are coming. Like if you have a Mercedes, there's a screen for the co-pilot. So if you're driving, you have someone next to you, that person can then have a full touch screen to its ability. So there is content is needed. Then we see large screens at the back. This is more tailored typically to high-end C-level kind of car fleets, but then we see more and more screens coming for kids at the back screen. I think what everybody understands is that, as Eli is saying, is like, this is not going to be connected TV in the car. This is really going to be a new form. Like 10 years ago, we didn't. I used to work at a smart TV maker. We didn't understand fast at all. We were just thinking about sort of ordering a snack while you're watching TV. This is we're at that level. We're at the first level, and what we see, for instance, content like Euronews that we really think is sort of a really nice contribution, because 8 to 10 minutes of news. You're in the car. You're on your way to home. You're maybe waiting a little bit. You open up the video feed, you can watch the video feed, and once you start driving, we'll make sure that it suspends the video, but you can still hear it. So I think types like Euronews, Audible, great, video with music or kids content.
Yeah. Fantastic. And yesterday I was presenting and I was saying how important is video. 70% of media and entertainment revenues is video. Next one is gaming and games. And the game industry and the video industry are very related. So I want to go to Thomas, because I think, Thomas, you are an expert in gaming. Can you tell us how important gaming will be inside the car?
Yeah, a few thoughts on that. I would say definitely if you look across the board, how many people are gamers and want to game, there's definitely a use case for that. We are excited from a product development perspective, just what the car offers. The screens is a different way of interacting. You're with more people in the car. And gaming is definitely part of this. So what we did with Appning is build out a concept for a game store. There's things like Angry Birds in there, but there's definitely also options where it can be voice triggered, so they can be quizzes with people in the car answering these questions. We also made a companion app where you use your phone as the remote to play games. So like a Mario type card game where people are gaming. I especially see these use cases also when the car's not moving, either in a charging environment or it's just on the driveway and kids go in the car and game there. I would say it's early days. We still need the AHA app for the car, like, oh, this is what it's made for. And gaming could definitely be one of those use cases.
Yes, because again, according to some data presented by my colleague Daniel Sutton, the charging in the car, the charging stations, the time is declining now from 45 minutes, it will go down to 38, plus 35% of the times, these charging stations are in shopping centers, so people may not stay in the car. So let's discuss that. And also a very important topic, where is the money? How can people make money? How can content providers make money through all this entertainment? People in the audience, feel free to ask questions as well. Don't be shy. This is interactive. It's not only me. So put hands up. Let's interrupt as many times as you want. But I'm going to start with Euronews. Maxime, how can we make money? Through advertising, through subscription packages? How does it work? How do you make money inside a car?
If you have the answer first, give it to everyone. But that's a market to be grown again, and that depends on the typology of media you're addressing. As far as news is concerned, subscription model, at least in our situation, is not the way to go. There are two things here. The first thing is, as a corporation and as a media owner nowadays, you should be able to make strategic choices. Do we believe that this market will be growing? Do we believe that our content value and proposition fits that usage? Do we believe that all of us are fighting for attention time nowadays, which is the KPI? Do we believe we have this in car? Yes. Then obviously we're expecting pretty much as, again, the CTV business model based on advertising, whether it's audio, whether it's video, skippable and skippable, but the market is fragmented nowadays in terms of operating systems, in terms of also the demand is not flooding here, but I believe and we believe that on the midterm basis it's going to be definitely getting there. So we want to make an early move, and we believe that such kind of services will become sort of a norm, also with the unification of the size of screens, the people getting more used to it, and eventually the demand partner getting more used to it. That's where we believe the money can be.
Because yesterday again we discussed a lot about advertising, retail media, shoppable TV. So if regulation allows it and you're inside the car, the kid said, I'm hungry, and then you can tell them, McDonald's, 2 minutes to your right. Do you think advertising will be that #1 source of revenue if we allowed localized advertisement? And
I mean, you get back to the same question of GDPR in Europe, regulation, then here you have the KPI of security as well, which is obviously you don't want the people in the driving seat to watch whether long form, whether live thing. So on top of those regulations, I believe, and that's again something that's been cracking on the internet, on the connected devices, I believe not only the companies like Appning, but also the demand partner, alongside us, we will be able to have a tailored user experience for the people in the car, whether kids at the back, adults at the front or whatever. And all of that together, I think it's going to be leading to much more revenues, data, and usages, which the three of them, I believe, are the main KPI of media nowadays.
so Eli, at the BBC, what do you think that, how premium content providers do you think they can monetize this opportunity? What do you think they can do?
Well, we don't monetize at the BBC.
I know, but you can
at
help
least-
others maybe.
At
how
least
they can
not in the UK, but we do, you know, our KPIs are reach. We are a universal service. We want to reach everybody. So we have some similarities with other streamers that way. We would like to, you know, if you want to reach people, you want to fish where the fish are, right? At the moment, the fish are listening to the radio. It's the easiest thing you can do in the car. There's a big old button, you turn it on, you've got familiar voices talking to you. There are, I think, a number of interesting opportunities to use the radio tuner as a sort of launch pad, both for advertising, not like distracting videos probably, but potentially still images or other types of call to action. It's probably important to mention that the BBC has a joint venture called Radio Player, which if you listen to the Freely presentation a little earlier on, you can kind of think of Radio Player a bit as a Freely type proposition for radio, which is meant to kind of make that transition from broadcast, traditional broadcast to IP more friendly to broadcasters. Now, with partners like Radio Player and other partners, we work with other partners as well, we can use that radio experience as a place to potentially link into BBC Sounds, but you could also use metadata around radio using some of that traditional radio advertising channel to show advertisements on the radio too. So some possibilities there, I think.
We have only 1 minute left. Time ran very quickly, but questions from the audience. Don't be shy. Who has a question? Who wants to become a billionaire using in-car entertainment? One person, 2 questions.
Do you think this is, are you sort of laying the foundations for autonomous vehicles, like whatever, 15, 20 years down the line, where everyone's going to be getting driven wherever they want to go, watching whatever it is they want to watch? Is that essentially where you see this going?
So I think autonomous drivers will be there, right? And I think this is also the reason for video. We are looking for a use case that makes sense now, but also a place to learn and to be ready for tomorrow. I think autonomous driving might be a little bit closer than we all think. AI is taking a huge leap, and I think this will drive some of the maturity of the autonomous driving quite fast. And at that point of time, it's going to be, especially for the first levels of autonomous driving, it's going to be very crucial that the entertainment will be in the car. Because then if you, for instance, have to take over the car again, you are engaged with the system. So I think that's what at least at Appning, we're trying to lay the land for, and just to make sure that we're ready for that use case. And we think it will, especially level 3, will come earlier than we might think.
And we're seeing announcements every day, like the Sun today announced they're launching live sports in the car with Audi, I think? Audi,
Yep.
yes. So there are more and more content providers now really excited about this opportunity. But anyone wants to add anything to that question? No. There was another question there, and I think we are now running out of time, but there was a question from... It's the same one. It's the same one, okay. So I think it's sorted, everyone understands the opportunity. Who is super excited about the opportunities inside the car? Great. 5% of the audience. This will change hopefully.
Some work to do, some work to do.
Well, thank you very much. If you want to say a sentence to close the panel, and with this, any message to increase the positivity here?
I think from my point of view, discoverability is huge. I think for us, that's the biggest challenge. I see our journey in the car as being very similar to where the connected TVs were about 10 years ago. There's still a lot to play for, people jostling for position.
Yeah.
You're starting to solve some of these problems in connected TV. We're trying to learn from you in the car.
Fantastic. Thomas, Matthias, convince the audience that they have to invest immediately.
Go download an app in your car and use it.
Matthias?
Yeah, I would say like you would have to try a good BMW or a good Lotus with our system. Try BBC Audio or Sounds. I think people, because people are used to the phone, you should really experience sort of an integrated experience, and then to really understand how much this is involving and where you're going to. So try to get a Lotus, a BMW, do Sound, do Spotify. It's a perfect experience.
There you go. Try those cards after this panel immediately. Anything else? No one else wants to add anything?
Don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive. Very good
smart.
advice. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the panel.